Hi guys, welcome to Authentic by Magoma. This is Africa's leading platform transforming minds and creating mental shifts through content that informs, enlightens, and entertains. Well, on this week's episode of Youth and Creatives in Development and Empowerment, we are at episode 11, guys. We have a guest here. We're going to understand effective leadership. We're going to understand how do you get to be a better version of yourself, especially as a leader, and what opportunities are out there for you. We're going to start obviously by my guest introducing himself. Welcome to Authentic Baba Goma.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here. My name is Wangalwa Musa, and before further
Interrogation.
before further interrogations, further in the conversation, I'm hoping that your viewers will help us to understand effective leadership even better. I think for you to have a spiral growth towards anything, you'll need your community, I think, to support you. So I had said my name is Wangalwa Musa. I support organizations to design, lead, and implement shared value programs that create wealth and employment opportunities for the youth and vulnerable groups.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what's your understanding of effective leadership? What's leadership to you?
My understanding of leadership is being able to, I think, influence and impact others in a positive way. It is about being able to, as quoted by one of the famous writers, communicate to people their worth and potential so clearly that they're able to see it in themselves.
Yeah.
So that, once that happens, I think the chain of leadership would have successors. And it has always also been said that you're not really a good leader if you do not have those kind of successors. So that is my thought on leadership and effective leadership. Just being able to influence people, achieve their worth, and create an impact for themselves and others.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about what influenced your style of leadership.
Well, my style of leadership has been a fabric of the people around me. It has been a fabric of the leadership um, programs that I have been to, and of course my peers as well, and the career opportunities. Some voluntary, others you get to immerse yourself because you want to grow as a leader. So I think it's a fabric of all those, because in every experience you get to learn either one thing about yourself or learn a better way of being able to lead. So I think it has grown from that experience. It has been influenced by majorly, again, family. I come from a background where most of the people have leadership positions either in their careers, either in politics, in the community that they serve. So that again has just contributed to my leadership style.
All right. Is there a specific event or is there anything specific that happened when you realized, oh, I'm a leader? Maybe you are a noisemaker somewhere, then you're told you lead by noisemaking, so take up this position.
Well, I think sometimes you get to do things and perhaps you do not see them as you have been in a leadership position before.
Yeah.
So I'll pick a moment of awareness that okay, so all these things I have been doing are of a leadership. Because when you're exposed to leadership, it comes out as a title. It comes out as a position of influence. It comes out as a job, a title. Well, in the real sense, I think you're able to be a leader in whatever role you're playing, in life. So I think the awareness came when I was applying for the YALI program, Young African Leaders Program. So then, of course, the question here is they want to see how you have been able to be a leader in your community before. Then, of course, you have to go down the memory lane and think, what have I been able to do for the community? And how does it align to, of course, my goals? Of course, that time when you're doing it for the community, you're doing something that you enjoy doing. So then the example that I had to put there, and of course, the exposure by being a fellow in the program, I think that is when now I started making deliberate attempts towards effective leadership, deliberate attempts towards leadership. Previously, of course, you're doing it because something you love. And the example I had done was when we were able to identify an opportunity and form an organization, part of the founding secretariat that formed an organization that was able to raise school fees to raise resources for the education of orphans and vulnerable children.
Oh.
So just being able, and it supported, I think, 181 orphans and vulnerable children in my county, Busia.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you're doing it, it's just something, and like you said, I was being punished at that time. I was being punished for a mistake I had done. So I think my dad thought, while punishing me, let me take you home, let me take you to Busia for a while. In Nairobi,
Inakuharibu.
become unaribika. Then of course, being idle, I like to use my resources, and as such, then it was able to, there's a program coming to an end. Some kids are going to, who are going to be left midway in their education without the proper support, and they're already vulnerable. So what do you do about it? Have conversations with the stakeholders in education, the county, the state department, different NGOs dealing in education, organize a series of activities that will lead to people raising resources, and raise 2.1 million, I think, which was disbursed to 181 orphans, and that was, I think, the moment I knew, after now being able to go down the memory lane while applying for it, for YALI, I was able to know, okay, so if I did that out of passion, now what if I make deliberate attempts towards leadership? Then I think the impact will be greater.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, that's amazing what you did.
Thank you.
Speaking of YALI, there are very many leadership organizations that are offering leadership trainings to various people and the youth. And when people apply for them, the catch is getting in, being selected for them.
Yeah.
I mean, you helped me go through YALI, the application process, and I got in. And I'm sure that there are other people out there who want to know, what does it take to go through this process and be selected? Because it does open first of all, it opens your mind.
Yeah.
And it opens, opportunities, way more opportunities for you.
I think first and foremost, you have to be guided by what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be guided by the intent. Actually, even after getting in, sometimes there are those who get lucky and get into those programs, or maybe it's not out of luck, but maybe perhaps the intent wasn't in line to what they wish to do. Then they do not get to leverage on the opportunities available for them by being part of the program, or they do not get to realize the impact that the program had desired to have. So I think on the forefront first, it has to be the intent in why am I applying for this particular program. Mm-hmm. Is it in line with what I want to achieve as a leader? So then if that happens, I think your application process will become much more seamless, because then you're able to apply to things that you already see them as part of your growth process as a person and as a leader. So then there are quite a variety, and both of us are alumni of YALI, but there are a number,
Yeah.
And some are crafted to suit a particular group of people. There are those that will be for women alone. Mm-hmm. You'd say, speak for example for maybe Academy for Women Entrepreneurs. That is women technically. Then you'll get, there are those for entrepreneurship. Say for example, the Tony Female Entrepreneurship Program. There are those that will guide towards, I think we have programs from the Ford Foundation on civic leadership, or even pushing creatives. So you get, it has by knowing your intent. Maybe I want to grow as a creative, I want to grow as a business leader, I want to grow as a project leader, I want to grow as a civic leader. I want to be in community-based organizations and just build their capacity. It will help you it will make it easier for you to identify those opportunities. Mm-hmm. And of course, upon identification of those opportunities, what I see as a major concern for them is that in your previous capacity, without being a beneficiary of the program or a fellow of the program, the different names they get to give people who participated in the program, were you able to do something? Were you able to, in the smallest way, try to create an impact?
Yeah.
It could be through talking to people. It could be through, having an event, a voluntary activity, having a channel that communicates to people on different issues. So then that is another thing that you need to communicate so clearly in that application process. You'd want to borrow from those, maybe if you're privileged enough to have a network that has people who have been beneficiaries of those different programs. You can borrow insights from them. You can how do you go about this? It will also even help, is it something really that I would want to be part of?
Yeah.
So they help you in that process. What I know about YALI is we organize even information sessions, for application. When there's applications for the regional leadership centers and applications for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. Usually there is a very robust campaign by the alumni to inform others on what is required of them, because you may not know, maybe Nikki advocate for, maybe someone is in the rural areas and advocating for clean water, and by doing something it may not have cost them. They do not see that as a leadership activity, or as a competence in leadership, but then having a conversation with someone who has been through that program before, they'll be able to even maybe chant that out of you and know, when you're doing this, you're doing it as a leader.
Yeah.
So then I think that also has to come out very clearly. Different programs come with different requirements.
Yeah.
You know, some would want you to, especially in entrepreneurship, and of course I'll be the level of information, say perhaps I have, is biased towards entrepreneurship, because for 5 years now I've been immersed in youth development and economic empowerment interventions. So most of them will be around youth development and entrepreneurship. They would want you to maybe produce your financial statements. So of course that is a business that has put proper structures in place. There are those that will just want you to have an idea, and maybe a clear idea, maybe in a business plan, and you have an opportunity to apply. So again, you'll need to make sure that you meet the relevant criteria that they have provided, I think, in the application process.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, how do you, I mean, you did not mention that you hold various titles. Maybe I'll let you do that. Then tell us how you multitask doing all that.
Do I really hold various titles? I just see myself, one as a project leader, project leader extraordinaire.
We're sorry.
I think I've had an opportunity to, and I'm glad to have been part of piloting and implementation of the Tujiajiri Programme in Coast Region. Then the implementation of the Young Africa Works program, 5-year innovative program. Then there is, in various capacities, I think I have been able to play my role in the Youth Empowerment Program initiative as a director of programs, you know, just to, of course, support the organization, design and get to implement programs that will impact the youth and women. I, again, in different capacities, as being able to build the capacity of the beneficiaries in the Kenya Youth Empowerment and Opportunities Program, the Kenya Youth Employability and Skills program. Those two names are quite getting to be similar. Yes, so those are quite a number, just to mention a few. Other voluntary activities, of course, through even YALI, other YALI activities that we get just to go to communities and volunteer, either through speech or through an event or something like that. So yeah, it's just been immersing myself in those youth development and economic empowerment interventions. Actually, I remember there's a time I was having a conversation with one of my friends when I was still in the coast, and you're like, it was a Saturday after training, and they're asking ourselves, why is it that our Saturdays are like these? You know, we either have a training on Sato, or we have a cleanup maybe for the beach or something. We have, it is not the usual,
youth activity.
It is not the usual, and you're like, yeah, we don't get to notice it. You know, we don't get to notice it because it is part of that spiral growth. If maybe I decided to do the youth activities, maybe perhaps I wouldn't be creating an impact or creating what I would want to create, for example.
So how do you manage to multitask all that?
It's having your priorities.
Plus your personal life.
It has inculcated itself. It's integrated itself into my personal life. It is almost a process now. But I think it is about having first and foremost your highest priorities in order. What do you envision, you know, in the medium to long term future? You know, what is the envision? Having your priorities in order. Once you have those priorities clearly in place, then I think you would have to really have a good amount of focus and self-discipline on your highest priorities.
Right.
You know, so because having them is one thing, but then again, everyone usually has a dream to wake up and become the most effective person. Like, tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll not be a procrastinator. Somebody say amen.
Amen.
You know, but it has to be deliberate focus on those. Then I think the other thing that also comes in very handy is your support system. It's your support system that is now who are the people around you. They'll make it easier for you to, you know, so for example, the example I gave you, we are having a conversation as friends after a very successful event.
Mm-hmm.
So then again I realized if they were not my circle, if they were not my support system, then maybe I wouldn't be there, because I would have to want to be where my friends are. What are my friends doing? My friends are creating an impact, maybe through a summit. So of course I have to be there. So I think that also comes in handy. And other than your peers and people down who you'll be able to exchange ideas with, I think again one thing that usually is not talked about more keenly, and I think it should be, is being able to have somebody you can look up to, in whatever sphere. It could be with the same field, the way mentorship is holistic.
Yeah.
It could be in the same field, good, your career mentor, but then it could be just someone who's able to guide you through the, shabangs of life. They may not be a creative and you're a creative, but again, they're able to guide you through a way in which you can live life more purposely and more fulfilling. So once you have all those things in place, it's not the easiest thing, by the way. Sometimes you'll have to do things you do not wish you had to do, or you not have the mood to do it, but then still you'll have to show up.
Mind over motivation.
Yes, sometimes you'd so it is a combination of those things. So once the priorities are in order, you'll be able to lose the things that are not really in your focus, just automatically, and it becomes a habit. They say effectiveness or success is not it's not a light bulb switch. It is what we get to do every day.
Yeah.
It is that. So not to sound like a motivational speaker, but but it
I
makes so
think
much
you're too late
sense.
for that.
Once you create your habits, I mean, they become part of you. Like I had said, now it becomes usual even to commit your weekends, because you don't see it as work. You see it as creating impact. Yes, you could be doing your 8 to 5 on Monday to Friday, but then on Saturday it is still one of the responsibility you have as a youth leader, and you still feel passionate to show up, because it's not, you don't see it as work really. Yeah.
Okay, I get you. Well, 2023 is just around the corner, and that's an election year. Do you think, it should be a do we think as the youth, but do you think as Musa that we have aspirants who are capable of being effective leaders, especially right now? I mean, we're in 2021 and fuel prices are over the roof.
Mm-hmm.
The country is complaining, the citizens are complaining. Someone woke up someday and decided, here's a new policy for y'all. Bam! So, looking at 2022 as an election year, and the fact that there's room for change,
Yeah.
do you think that the people who are aspiring to be elected in various seats, parliamentary seats,
Actually,
capable of being effective leaders?
yeah, I think before I even get to answer your question directly, I think for the leaders to wake up and say, we believe in the Kenyans' capability to pay these amounts.
134 shillings.
Yeah, then I think they are aware that yes, we have those capabilities, and from where they sit in positions of where they're able to analyze our economic status through taxation revenues, whatever money the country can produce, and all the reports that are available to them,
Mm-hmm.
there is the potential. So you look like that may not really be the issue. The issue is now, is this real potential being optimized?
Yeah.
But then let's leave at that. To answer your question, I think yes, we do have those who can have the capabilities, to the young people especially, who are saying we are going to these positions and we are going to take up the political leadership positions and make some change. So I think yes, we do have a number of those people who can be and turn out to be effective leaders.
Yeah.
When they take those positions. Do we have as many as we need to change our country? We need to breed them.
Yeah.
We need to breed them all the way from even those who are younger than us.
Mm-hmm.
We may not be having a good number of role models, and this is personal opinion. It differs from everyone. We may not be having a good number of role models. So those even who are determined to go there to become effective leaders, they really have to go through that murky waters themselves, for fear of being corrupted, or if they want to remain incorruptible. They have to just be able to craft their own path
It's
which
double
is,
the work.
yeah, which is it's double the work. You know, they are shy of role model, someone who will hold your hand and say, okay, come on board, let's do this together. Come on board, let's do this together. I think as a country we are short of that. Those who have promised us before, or not, who have shown to become great leaders, I think sometimes get incorruptible when they get into leadership positions, and you know, power has a very good success rate in terms of corrupting people.
Yeah.
You know, so then there's that again, and again it is because of lack of that guidance and leadership from someone who is saying, I'm in this to support you. Let's give those who can be effective a chance. I think it is part of a very long process, but then again, let's breed leadership in ourselves and in others who are younger than us, so that then in the future years we have a chance to have a very great pool of effective leaders to choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Well, guys, we're about to go for lunch. No wonder our chickens are cuckooing. Pardon me for that. They will stop eventually. Well, Musa, speaking about the ability to, rather the need to breed new leaders and,
Yeah.
I mean, younger leaders who are younger than us, do you think that the current education system is in a position whereby it's capable of bringing out effective leaders?
The education system is being changed.
Yeah.
And I think like you said, I think that is a conversation perhaps the ministry is might have had. I mean, for them to change a curriculum, I want to believe it comes out of a report or a study, you know, or
Yeah.
some feedback they've been given. You know, I think when 844 was being set up, from the information available, it was set up to create or to propagate vocational training, you know, education of vocational training, so people are able to have hands-on skills.
Yeah.
I don't think the success rate of that evolving might have worked very well as they had hoped, because even as I think the system evolved, you'd get some of the technical subjects are being dropped out. You know, me when I was in high school, power mechanics was a course.
For real?
Yeah, it was electricity was a course.
You're old.
I'm saying, you know, art and craft. I think I'm not sure if it. I think some of these were taken back.
They're not optional.
Home science, you know, they were. Even if they were optional, like power mechanics, I think was completely kicked out, or it was no longer there.
I never found it when I was in high school.
Yeah, so then again, that didn't work, even because of, I think, the status of our vocational training institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Not a very good number have enough resources, I think, to give that kind of training. Then you'd get, again, maybe there was a debatable decision about the chartering of so many universities, other than, which was again not in the same line of getting vocational training.
Mm-hmm.
So there are mistakes that have happened, and I think what you're trying to do is learn from the learnings by introducing the competency-based curriculum.
But is it the solution?
You know, we'll have to test it to see if it really is the solution. I think in the process of any implementation of any design, any program, you know, any product, really, there is the prototype bit. You get to test it, and I think that is what should be happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
You get to test it and see, it really is your prototype addressing your problem statement. What was the ministry thinking around before implementing this curriculum?
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, there are already feedbacks that are coming up. What we are hearing right now is feedback being put in the wrong way. When someone is petitioning about the curriculum, that it must stop, they're giving their feedback that I do not like this, and these are my reasons for not liking it. When the government is saying, no, this ship has sailed, you guys, we just have to board a speedboat to catch up, because we have to implement this. I think for them, they are saying is we believe in our system, we believe in the curriculum. There are feedbacks coming from the teachers, you know, that I think it is some of them are enjoying the lessons.
Mm-hmm.
We have parents saying they are beginning to learn more about their children. So you then realize it is not one center that it must fall because it's not working.
Yeah.
Can we have, you know, you have your opinion, I have mine. Then I think the alternative we should be looking at is one that is greater than both of our opinions. It is of a greater notion. Our original notion becomes lesser than the final idea we're gonna come up with. So it's get this feedback, I think, consolidated, see what can't work, what is going to work, what can we drop, what can we learn from so far the experience, you know. If it is about resources, then I think it is again the responsibility of the government to see how can we have the resources available to those particular institutions. If it is about being expensive for the parents, are we able to make it affordable, depending, you know. Again, what is expensive, you know, for me to Turkana, I may not have a printer. That is not expensive. That is the inability or inadequate resources. I can't have a printer to do what the assignment the teacher has given me. I do not even have electricity. I have to walk for 4 miles. So how can we be able to customize it to even affect the needs of those particular different groups or different students? So I think we'll have to see it, and it is important that the Ministry of Education also communicates, I think, the progress, the feedback we are getting in a very neutral way, so that everyone gets to understand. I think all parties need to sit on the table and have a conversation. It is teething issues in implementation of programs, I think, and having been part of implementation and piloting of various programs, I know these kind of things, you know, they come up. People are saying, no, it does not work. Hatutaki tu hapa.
Some people like a thumbs up.
But again, you get to realize you can always redesign it. So just redesign it for better. If it doesn't work, we do the same thing we did to it. For we have tried it. It is now 10 years. We do not see the results we want, and the mistake is the system, it's the curriculum. Then we change it. If it is not the curriculum, if it is resources, if it is affordability, you know, if it is those, I think those ones can be addressed by other relevant departments, you know, the government itself.
Okay. Thank you for that. Well, Musa, as you wind up, where exactly do you see yourself as a leader, an effective one, especially in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years? I'll speak 5. You know, 10 years, maybe the statuses might change. You know, you never know. I mean, I have seen, and we're speaking about this, when leaders decide to change their course, because Kenyans youth years are becoming difficult to lead. You know, we are saying, now I'm resigning from a political party, I want to focus on my family and children and friends. About fighting for fuel prices and economic development. No, but I think I would want to be resilient past that. So then I see so in the next 5 years, I see myself to have designed and implementing a skills development program. I think in partnership with the donor organizations and various youth organizations that are here, is to develop leadership in different phases. So first their skill and to develop leadership in that, targeting I think at least 100,000 Kenyan youth, and sustainable. So when I say sustainable, it is, I wouldn't want to have, you know, most programs are being implemented for a span, 5 years, 10 years. So I would wish that the program design makes it a sustainable program that is able to run in time immemorial, you know. So that is it. And that is one thing I've learned in my experience in programs that I would wish to implement, so that it is not that I am implementing a 5-year program.
And then you're done.
And then I'm done. And maybe, of course, yes, there could be success stories and there could be impact that you had desired in the 5 years, for example. But then I would wish this to have a self-sustaining kind of design, in the sense that whatever we breed from the program, the skills and the leadership we build from the program, is able to be replicated to the next generation. Opportunities remain available to the next. So maybe the 100,000 will be the ambassadors of that particular program to ensure of its sustainability.
All right.
Yeah, because really I think, I mean, leadership is holistic. It's not we speak so much about political leadership. We see so much on in civic leaders, you know, I think because they get to speak a lot. I almost said shout.
Some do.
But yeah, I mean some do. I mean shout. It is usually seen as sometimes activism or things like that. I think we need to communicate even to different generations that I could be a pilot and a leader in aviation.
Yeah.
That I could be a creative and a leader in the creative industry. That I could be in project management and design, and I'm a project leader. That I could be a student and I'm a leader in my position as a student, that I do not have to be a captain for me to say I'm a leader, you know, for example, so that we're able to create that positive impact in whatever position that you're playing it. You know?
Yeah, you as the class rep out there, you're a leader.
You as the noisemaker, you are
a leader.
Don't lead the noisemakers though.
Lead them to silence
Yeah.
and mental peace.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming to Authentic by Wangalwa Musa. I
Yeah.
enjoyed having this conversation.
I am delighted to be here. Should we tell them how long it has taken?
No.
Okay.
They will
I'm delighted.
watch.
I'm delighted to be here.
If
No, I mean it has taken for us to have these.
oh my god. People, story for another day. Take 1, take 2, weird, take 100, I believe. We had poor lighting the other day, but I mean, we're here, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Guys, please like, subscribe, and share this video, especially share. Tell your people to do the same thing.
Yes. When you come across this video, when you watch it, make sure you watch. And before you get to minute 2, pause, go and subscribe if you haven't. Like it, share it with your friends, with those who are not your friends, with your community. Let them watch. Let them give their feedback. Also tell us about your thoughts on effective leadership.
Yeah.
Na imefika ile time ya kuchinja kuku.
Twende. Bye guys.